Hello everyone. Today we will look into the effect of negative emotions on one's life and more so on their relationships, interpersonal relationships. When we say negative emotions, there's also positive emotions and there's also the word emotion. So emotion, as we use like a feeling, it's a state of mind where it is like anyone going through a state of emotion. It is especially, it's like a stirred up state of mind, or it's like a disturbed state of mind. Even in positive emotions like happiness or there are certain kinds of changes that happen in the body as well as in the mind. So today we'll focus on mainly on the negative emotions. When we say negative emotions, we usually look at four important emotions: anxiety, sadness, fear, and anger. Yes, these are the four kinds of emotions. There is frustration, there is upset, there is feeling of low, and there is hatred. All these are the extensions of these four main emotions. So today we'll try to briefly look at these negative emotions, and we'll also look at how they can affect their own life at different stages in their life, as well as their interpersonal relationships and what is the way out. So looking at anxiety per se, anxiety is something we look at it as a state anxiety or a kind of a trait anxiety. When we say state anxiety, it is because of some other factors like going through a stressful kind of life event or something that an external factor that would have been led to an anxious situation. Say, for example, if someone has gone through a kind of anxiety related to being in the dark, or falling from a kind of high place, so which is because of these kind of possible factors that the anxiety is being built over a period of time, we call it state anxiety. When we say trait anxiety, it is more to do with much more genetic component, more in terms of genetic vulnerability. So it is more in their personality as part of their genetic makeup. So be it state or trait anxiety, we have already discussed in our previous videos the different kinds of clinical conditions related to anxiety. Here we are not looking into any of those. We are looking into anxiety per se, how it can affect the relationships or affect one's lifestyle. So when we say anxiety, if you look at our lifestyles, from the time we get up in the morning till you go to bed, the kind of lifestyle that we are leading can bring in a lot of anxiety, a lot of uncontrollable situations that one has to go through, and then a lot of events that can actually bring in anxiety in persons. So looking at, at different levels, for a school child, not completing a homework is an anxiety situation. For someone who is, in a career or just a beginner of a career, anxiety of doing well, not doing well, and someone who is in the business, the kind of, business dealings, there is anxiety related to whether it will happen or it will not happen kind of things. So for a homemaker, there are a lot of anxiety issues related to, mostly related to family members and oneself. So looking at almost all kind of life stages, there is an anxiety that each one of us go through. So what happens when one is in a state of anxiety? Mainly there is a disconnection between the person and then how the person is relating to the world around. So in order to understand what an anxiety can do, I'll put it in a simple model form. When you look at body, a physical body, and as well as the mind or the behavior. So whenever these two, body and mind, are interdependent on each other for functioning, we look at it how when you have a headache, let us say something to do with your body, and then invariably there is a disturbance in your behavior or mind, in your level of concentration, in your ability to process different things around you, and vice versa. When you are disturbed in your mind, let us say you're upset about something, or you're angry about something, or anxious about something, invariably there is a restlessness in your body. You're not able to sleep properly. Your appetite has changed. So there is an interdependency in the body and mind. I hope this example will help you. Similarly, there is an interdependency between anxiety as an emotion and also on the negative thought process. Every emotion is invariably associated with a thought process. So when you are anxious, generally there is a kind of stirred up state of mind, and then there is a lot of kind of disturbance that is happening. You are unable to connect to your mind, you are unable to connect to your body, and when you have to focus on the outside situations, be it as a student on your class, or if you are a career oriented on your work, if you are a homemaker on your daily course, and then if you are a business person in your business dealings. So this anxiety will come as a kind of first person, and then it starts affecting your way of able to understand, process the kind of information that is getting in, and then your ability to relate and respond to different situations. So anxiety can actually make you disconnect from your own self, and more so your ability to connect with your relationships. When you look at the next kind of negative emotion, anger. So anger can actually do a lot of damage to a lot of physical aspects, like more on the internal systems like your heart, your circulation, and your ability to handle your breathing, a lot of effect on your respiratory system. So when you are angry, it is more like, you are not able to foresee the consequences, what your anger is doing to yourself and to your relationships. So anger can actually breed in a lot of hatred, and being around a person who is getting angry for every silly nonsense things around, and then and like say for example, like things are not in place, or anything for that matter, daily things, be it at home or be it in the workplace, any small trigger can make them angry, and then it can actually make the other persons around them as trying to be away from them or avoiding the person. And for the family members, it becomes much more difficult to deal with. There's a continuous state of being on tension. It is more like you're sitting on a bed of thorns. When the person will get angry, more so if the person is the major earning member of the family, it is much more difficult. And then for a child, it is a very, very, difficult experience. And then a lot of modeling can happen where the child might actually try to imitate the kind of anger that an adult parent is expressing. So more so, it is not only for the person who is going through anger, it is very dysfunctional or impairing, but the persons who are more closely related, like a spouse or children, a lot of suppressed anger can be built over a period of time. And especially in alcohol families and people who are having anger issues, a lot of family members going through this extreme stress builds in a lot of negative emotions, leading into much more disturbance in the relationships and long-term effect on their relationships. So looking at sadness as one another emotion, apart from the clinical depression that I have described in one of my previous video, we are mainly looking at sadness. So some people, it appears that they are sad for everything that happens around them. They are upset when things are not going the way. And then this sadness can be more like a brooding hopelessness, lack of hope, always being in a negative state of nothing can happen. And then it can bring in a lot of self-damaging kind of low self-esteem kind of feelings in the person. So a person who is going through this sad feelings, for them to connect to themselves, the world around, and even the future, a little more extension, they are unable to see any hope in the future. And it can actually bring in a lot of disconnection in oneself. So sadness can be, more like sulking or close to yourself, shut down, and then it's completely like you are shelling yourself into something, cocooning yourself into. It's more disturbing to the person, and also it's like a disturbance for the persons around you, because they are unable to understand what is happening in your mind. And then it can be very difficult for your family members to help the person going through the sadness. So looking at fear as one other important emotion, fear is more built and it is considered to be normal in young children. And a lot of children, when they have gone through fear experiences like a kind of dog bite, or for that matter, if there is any kind of incest or any abuse kind of situations where the fear is built into their system, and it can be making them much more avoiding the situations, and then trying to always look for a safer zone or safe environment, and then impairing their ability to take move outside, or look for a little more any risky situation for that matter. They will try to run away, and then fear can be much more constraining their lives, and then they are unable to even if they are very intelligent or very talented people, because of their fear. It could be because of fear related to situations, fear related to heights, fear related to interpersonal interactions. There are various kinds of fears where the person might try to avoid the situations and always look for a safety kind of place, and then constraining their ability to put their potential to their full use. So these are the very briefly about how these negative emotions like anxiety, anger, sadness, and sadness can actually make the person affect their relationships as well as their own self. So what is the way out and how do you handle? The first and foremost important step is to become aware of these kind of negative emotions. When you are going through negative emotions, it's very easy for you to make out that you are so disconnected and you are unable to balance yourself in the way that you are doing your daily routine activities and your relationships. So becoming aware is the first step, where you have to accept that there is a component that is making you disconnect and it is affecting your ability to function effectively, not only in your family situations, even outside the social situations. It is affecting your performance in different ways. So becoming aware is the first step. A lot of times we know that there is an anxiety, we are aware that we are feeling sad, we are also aware that we are getting angry. So but then for us to actually look at as this is the time that I need to take control over this is more like you are bent upon handling it in much more constructive way. So becoming aware is the first step to handle the negative emotions. And the next step is seeking help. A lot of people have difficulty in seeking help, where to help, whom to ask help. Not only it is always the counselors or the psychologists. So a lot of help can be taken from your own peer group, from your own family members who can help you. And meditation and yoga and a lot of other changes, nature walks, and then trying to do activities related to art, music, dance. All these can be expressions and then help you to kind of bring some amount of balance in your negative emotions. So but in any case, when you feel that major life events like your academics or career, or more so your relationships with your family members are getting affected, taking some amount of professional help is not a very bad idea. You can look at it as one possibility. What professional help can do to you? It can help you to not take away your if it is a trait anxiety, like I said, within your personality. If there is a kind of anxiety, you can't take it completely. So as a my PhD is on couples with anxiety conditions, and then I have worked with them very extensively over a period of 3 to 4 years, where how it can affect them as individuals, and also in their relation with their family members, more so with the spouse. So it can be very impairing, and it can be very difficult for the person who is not going through this kind of conditions to relate to the person, because of the continuous expression of anxiety, continuous expression of anger, or always expressing the hopelessness. Persons who are trying to take care of them can also be equally stressful, and then it affects the relationship to a larger extent. So major lifestyle changes that we need to look at as a long-term solution. Here, most of the work kind, or most of the situations are more artificially created, and then touch with nature, touch with the outside natural environment has cut down because of our lifestyles. So it is important to have a little more focus on having a stress-free kind of activities related to nature, be it photography, be it nature walks, be it going to parks or having a little bit of nature outings, and then more kind of trying to be close to the nature. For that matter, even pets can be very good way of having control. Dogs and fish aquariums where listening to music, or a lot of activities related to creative activities, nature related activities can actually bring a lot of soothing kind of state of body and mind, which will help you to bring your anxiety states, negative emotions and feelings of anger, and can bring in much more harmony in your system. Hope this short video is useful to those people who are interested in knowing about the topic. Thank you.